What are you guys doing out here?
We would rather you talk to a person of color.
Do what?
We're not gonna talk to media. We ask them to talk to people of color.
People of color? Okay. So, the white people are telling journalists to go speak to people of color because they have no rights to speak here, apparently. Jesus, this is the kind of world we live in right now.
Anyway, boys and girls, what's going on? It's your boy Rick Media, back at again with a feminist cringe compilation video. Boys and girls, we have a special one for you guys today, so make sure you smash that like button ultra hard, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, and make sure you're hitting that bell notification for the next feminist cringe compilation videos. But boys and girls, I'm doing another gift card giveaway, so make sure you leave a comment about what your favourite bit of today's video was, and I'll be sure to pick up one of you lucky winners. And boys and girls, my friend Ablaze is doing a face reveal, so make sure you check out his Snapchat. His Snapchat will be on the screen right now. Make sure you just go over there and check that out for me, guys. But anyway, boys and girls, without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
You can write about this to whoever you want.
I'm not writing about this for anything. I'm just correcting you.
Academic freedom. Apparently, you have the kind of medieval mindset that you don't even understand what academic freedom entails. Yeah.
I don't think criticizing a mainstream political candidate is academic freedom.
Whoever we can call and just get this guy out of here, or I'm not gonna be able to teach. This is nonsense.
Yeah, that's
and
nonsense.
you can write to the dean. You can write whoever you want. Okay.
I'm not writing to anybody. This is ridiculous.
Or I'm giving you the option. If you want to stay in this class, and this is not going to play against you, just stay here and follow the rules. Don't make up things, okay? And don't claim that I don't have the right to criticize Donald Trump, because I can criticize any human being in this class.
You said the only people that don't understand this are the people like Donald Trump.
Yes, he did, and he has every right to say that.
That
doesn't imply that he's stupid. That implies that he's not listening to the data that's on the screen, that he doesn't understand that data. That does not imply that he's stupid. That does not imply he's unintelligent. He even said privately he may support this and understand. He said publicly he's not supporting this.
No, okay, that's
He did not question his intelligence at all.
No, he just said the only people that can't understand a basic graph are people like Donald Trump.
This guy apparently came here to make up a scene. He either has to stop and apologize, or he has to leave. That's it.
I'll apologize if you apologize for criticizing Donald Trump supporters.
I have no time to wait for these things.
I'll apologize if you apologize for criticizing Donald Trump supporters.
Oh my God.
The other thing too is that Donald Trump supporters are completely worthy of criticism. So
in a classroom that people pay.
anywhere,
Especially in a classroom.
really, especially in a
Okay, you
classroom.
understand that? Because you're paying $1,000 in tuition, that doesn't make you a boss.
I'm not saying I'm a boss. I just thought that was
You're saying
insulting.
precisely those things.
I'm just saying I thought that was
You have to get out of
insulting.
this classroom. You have to get out of here right now, because I'm not going to teach this course with you here. Okay?
Well, I guess you're not teaching the course then, because I paid money to be here, so.
Can someone just- okay. The only person who used the word stupid is him. He said that I was stupid for sharing the data and not understanding it, that he was more qualified. That alone is enough for me to get rid of you. Because there's a thing
You just
called
said you're not
academic
qualified to
integrity,
teach
okay?
that.
There's a thing called academic integrity.
What does academic integrity have to do with this?
I'm the teacher.
Yeah, you are the teacher, so you should be
Okay?
professional enough
If you
not to
don't like
insult
me,
a whole group
you
of
don't
people.
like me,
It's not.
id Software's 2004 game Doom 3 took the basic concept of their earlier Doom titles, a space marine single-handedly fighting his way through hordes of demonic abominations, but it used the vastly improved computer graphics of its time to create a moodier, scarier tone. Along with the reimagined environments, sharper textures, and more atmospheric lighting effects, the creative team also designed some unsettling new monsters for this latest confrontation with the forces of hell. One of those new monsters was the Vagary, a monstrosity with the upper half of a naked woman and the lower half of a giant spider, who also happens to be pregnant with a demon fetus in her abdomen. It's no mistake that the vagary blends female sexuality and fertility with elements designed to be unsettling or horrifying. The book The Making of Doom 3 reveals that the game's creative team summed up the driving concept for the vagary with the equation sexy plus gross equals creepy. What the makers of Doom 3 may not have realized is that this equation was in no way new, original, or innovative. On the contrary, by singling out the vagary, the only female enemy in the game, for her gender and using this to make her uniquely repulsive, the designers were participating in a very long tradition of creating female creatures who function to demonize femaleness itself. To understand how such characters function, we actually need to venture back a few millennia, to time when myth and folklore were part of how people interpreted and made sense of the world. Just as modern media both reflects and shapes our culture today, those ancient stories weren't simply meaningless entertainment in their own time. They reflected and reinforced cultural values. Sadly, misogyny has been part of cultures for the past few thousand years, and the myths and folktales of those cultures reflect that, with female creatures and monsters who represented beliefs that women are inherently deceptive, manipulative, or evil. In his book Misogyny, The World's Oldest Prejudice, Jack Holland explores this through the story of Pandora from Greek mythology. The first woman, Pandora, was created by Zeus specifically to punish humanity after Prometheus stole fire from the gods. She's given a sealed jar and told to never open it, but because Zeus designed her to be evil and lacking in morals or manners, of course she does open it. By doing so, she unleashes evil into the world, dooming humankind to labor, suffering, aging, illness, and death. Where else have I heard a story about the first woman doing something she's not supposed to do and being responsible for all the bad things in the world? Commenting on what the tale of Pandora and others like it actually tell us about ancient Greece, Holland writes, as well as burdening Pandora with responsibility for the moral lot of man, the Greeks created a vision of woman as the other, the antithesis to the male thesis, who needed boundaries to contain her. Any history of the attempt to dehumanize half of the human race is confronted by this paradox, that some of the values we cherish most were forged in a society that devalued, denigrated, and despised women. And in his book The Gender Knot, Alan G. Johnson discusses the relationship between mythology and misogyny, saying the cultural expression of misogyny, the hatred of femaleness, takes many forms. It's found in ancient and modern beliefs that women are inherently evil and a primary cause of human misery, products of what the Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras called the evil principle which created chaos, darkness, and woman. So there's a little mathematical fun fact for you. The guy who came up with the theorem you learned in geometry class wasn't just a brilliant mathematician, he was also a total misogynist. The equation sexy plus gross equals creepy pertains not just to the vagary, but to a whole category of characters I refer to as grotesquely female. These are characters who incorporate highly gendered or sexualized elements in ways that are specifically intended to be creepy or disgusting. Other examples of the grotesquely female include Diablo III Sedea, the Maiden of Lust who spouts dialogue in a sensual, seductive tone while also taking the form of a giant spider-woman.
I will take great pleasure in your suffering.
Clotho, the third sister of Fate in God of War II, has naked breasts all over her body in a way that's clearly meant to be repulsive. While in Dante's Inferno, Cleopatra's nipples release demon babies who attack the player. And, well, I don't think the footage of the boss Kaylee from Bloodforge needs any explanation. Now, of course, there's no shortage of male characters in games who are meant to elicit disgust, but the unsettling nature of those characters is not tied explicitly to their gender. They don't function to suggest that maleness itself is inherently disgusting or dangerous. With these female characters, on the other hand, their grotesque nature is inextricably tied to their gender. This tradition of sexualized evil women in the Temptress mold include characters ranging from the Dark Queen of the Battletoads games to Elizabeth from Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. In Hitman Absolution, if players track the target Layla to a secret room in the penthouse, she strips for Agent 47 in an attempt to distract him before drawing a gun and trying to kill him. The problem with these representations is not that they depict female characters who are sexual, it's the way that sexuality is presented, as a threat or a weapon rather than as something to be enjoyed by these women and those they choose to consensually share it with. It's a false notion of female sexuality rooted in ancient misogynistic ideas about women as deceptive and evil. Games sometimes blend the two extremes of the temptress and the grotesquely female, presenting us with female characters who initially appear attractive and alluring, only to have their true form revealed as monstrous and threatening. The critically acclaimed 2013 game Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, tells the story of brothers on a quest to find a cure for their ailing father. At one point on their journey, they rescue a young woman who it appears is about to be sacrificed. The seemingly innocent young woman then travels with the brothers for a while, flirting with the older one and luring the two of them off course and into a shadowy cave. Here, her true nature and intentions are revealed when she transforms into a giant spider and tries to trap the protagonist in her web. The boys escape from her trap and fight back, ultimately killing her, but not before she gives the older brother a fatal wound.